Today we're making our own home away from home, a bastion.
Aw, dang. That was still your best left-handed pull.
And there's the opening crack.
I'm like questioning my whole life. I'm like, wait a minute. I always hold with my right hand. Maybe that's the problem.
It's 100% your problem.
What was that?
He's just for.
I'm like,
How many beers have you had? What percentage have you been rolling
I have to
tonight?
keep. I feel like I have to keep a firm grasp on the can, so I must use my dominant hand to hold the can. I've been doing it wrong
Now you know. The more you know.
for like 14
The
years.
more you know.
Well, welcome everybody. This is going to be a fun one. We are covering something brand new tonight, coming out of the 2024 handbook.
Are you rolling your bees now? Brand new. Look, guys, brand new.
We are going fancy tonight, and we are building our own bastions. Or it's not from the player's handbook; it's from the Dungeon Master's Guide, but
Yeah,
it's one of those new
It's
books.
fine, yes. Yes, you're right. Dungeon Master's Guide.
So Ross, tell us, what is this? What is this thing? A bastion?
So basically, a bastion is an opportunity for you at level 5 to create a place where not only could you live, but you can automate some things. Completely optional. You do not have to do this. But basically, you would have facilities within your bastion and hirelings where you could have them make potions. They could build magical items. It's a place for you to stay that could be protected. There's people there to do all those things. So it's just this really unique
Minions.
way to create. Yes, it's a really unique way to create a headquarters, essentially, for yourself.
What I think is interesting about it too, though, is it's not just like headquarters for your party. Like each individual character, if they want to or have the means to, could build their own bastion.
Mm-hmm.
And then it can reflect their individual character too. It
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
have to be just like an abandoned mansion on a hill. Like it could be an underground cave or something, or like a treehouse for some sort of druid or something.
Ooh, treehouse would be cool.
That would be cool. I mean, you can make it whatever you want, so that makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. I love that. I think it's interesting that the book points out that it's really for adventurers who have the opportunity to return back to it. Like it's like you have to go back to issue orders or pick up things that they're making. So it's probably not something that's well. Obviously, it's not well suited for a one shot, even if you are past the level 5, just because you're not going to have time to use it.
Mm.
If you're in a shorter campaign, probably not something that's worth doing. It may be, depending on certain circumstances, but these are really built for like long running campaigns in a lot of ways.
Long running campaigns that center or come back to a setting, like a specific setting.
Sure.
It's like if you're on a Lord of the Rings type journey, like across blah 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 blah, taking the ring to whatever place, probably not a great use for a bastion.
Sure.
Because you're not going to be routinely coming back to it.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
Would fit really well. Excuse me. Would fit really well in some sort of like a patron style of a campaign, right? Like you're always coming back to receive orders from a patron in a specific place or something like that. Like
Sure.
that would work well.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And that kind of leads to one of the cool things is to start a bastion. It can require money, but it doesn't necessarily have to. You could get it granted to you by your patron, or you could get it as some sort of victory token by, like, if you save a village or something like that, they could give you a land or in some old mansion.
So I think one of the coolest things about this, and it's kind of like going back, when we first started doing these episodes, how we pointed out there was the line that said, like, the rules are guidelines, right? It's like, you do whatever you want. There's a line within the Bastions chapter which is chapter 8, in the new Dungeon Master's Guide that says, and I'll read this verbatim because I think it's worthwhile to know. It says, most importantly, a bastion is a creative playground for a player and a shared storytelling space in the campaign. Be as permissive as you can with the stories players tell in their bastions, but players should know that control might be limited by the campaign's larger story, which you strive to make fun for everyone. So basically what Wizards of the Coast is saying is, to a DM, is let them do whatever they want that's within means and within the story, because this is their place that they can do whatever they want with.
And the one of the fun things with Bastions is even though you're not always going to be at the Bastion, it continues.
Oh yeah, it has turns, which I thought was
Which is
kind of
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
That is a fun new mechanic that
Oh, yeah.
they've added in for this one.
and it gives you the option too, where basically, like, if you're away from your bastion, right, and you can't give an active order, you, in essence, it maintains. Well, you think of maintain as like status quo, kind of, right? And it's not just that. So if you have the maintain order because you can't get back to your bastion, or maybe you're not able to like use a sending spell to communicate with your hirelings, basically the DM like rolls on the side to see what's actually happening at your bastion while you're away.
On a
And they're-
D100 too.
Which is
They're not all
really
good things.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is like even though they're not all good things, even the bad things resolve okay. It just production could take a hit is
Yeah.
essentially what they're hurting the most.
Yeah.
Which is
So
which
it
is
goes
really cool.
from everything of all is well to your Bastion gets attacked to you find you have friendly visitors or a guest, or you lose some of your hirelings, or somebody else comes and requests aid. All sorts of different things that could just randomly happen while you're away.
I love the one that was like law enforcement basically comes to your door and says that one of your hirelings is a thief.
Yep.
Right.
So I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
But then it gives you an option to like bribe them,
Yeah.
to keep them. It's like,
Right?
okay, interesting. I love that.
You know that's going to happen to Phil's because he's going to hire all rogues.
Which is a dumb move, but whatever. You're just gonna be paying a lot of money to keep all your people.
I think he disagrees.
Dog the bounty hunter. It's bad.
What
enough-
is money to rogues?
If it's
Come on.
if it's bad enough that Dog the bounty hunter shows up in Faerun to catch some guys at your place, that's when you know it's like, maybe we should tone it back a little bit. You can be the world's greatest rogue. Maybe you shouldn't hire them.
There's your new character inspiration.
Dog the
Dog
bounty
Bounty Hunter.
Barbarian.
Hmm.
Yeah, we could work on that.
Oh yeah, we can work on that one. But as you traverse your world and start leveling up, you're also going to start leveling up your bastion, and so that's when it really gets fun because you can start to add more than just like a bedroom. You can start to add special features or special rooms in your bastion.
That's what I think is cool, right? Is like your in-game play impacts your bastion, and your bastion can be doing things that can help your in-game play as well. You could be creating healing potions, right? That you're going to use when you're actually in battle, or potentially growing herbs that you need to create poisons. Like there are all sorts of things that you can do in those special facilities. And then as you grow as a character, well, you got to have the gold too, but you can continue to build those things out.
And the nice thing is it levels up pretty consistently. So starting at level 5, you get 2 of those special facilities. Level 9, you get 4. Level 13, you get up to 5 special facilities. And then you cap out at level 17 of your player character with 6 special facilities. And so you can get quite a few things rolling inside of your bastion just over the course of time. But then all while you're doing that, you can continue to add expansions to your current facility with extra bedrooms, more space for like guards to be able to patrol your bastion, or hirelings, that sort of thing.
Well, and even in some of those facilities too, what I thought was interesting is they added the size component. So like some of them might be considered a roomy kind of a facility, and you could increase the size of that space. And if it is a special facility, sometimes you can increase like the production that happens there, right? If it's a garden, you can basically double production or something like that, or build 2 different types of gardens to collect different herbs. So it gives you some ways to expand without just necessarily building brand new facilities, which is a cool mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
One of the maybe not balanced super well things that I noticed was if you're trying to defend your bastion and you have to build a wall, it is really expensive.
It is. It's what, 250 gold per 10 feet, 10 foot wide by 20 foot tall section. So if it's
And then it takes time to build it
10
too,
days, 10 days to
right? Per
build.
section.
Per section.
That's going to be like a year doing.
So you should probably hope you're inheriting a hold with some pre-built walls.
I was thinking like how do we convince like city folk to put their name on a brick in your wall and
gotta raise
You
some
can do
money,
some
man.
got a donor wall over here.
I need to build a library. Donate 5 gold. 5 gold today is all I need.
But I love how open it gives you gives the player the ability to make it their own, and like they encourage you to draw this out on a piece of paper. But I think that's one great way to do it is to like write it out on a piece of paper, on grid paper. But you could do so many other different things too. You could do it in a virtual tabletop and have your own
Sure.
bastion built in there. You could. There's Coop the Dungeon Dog.
Dungeon Dog.
You could make it in Minecraft. You could make it in Lego.
Ooh,
You could
oh,
do
that's a
all
good
sorts of fun things to bring your bastion to life.
That's a really cool idea. I love that.
I feel like multiple times throughout this chapter too, it continues to come back to that of like, give the players creative freedom, like get them to draw out the floor plans. Like, what does this look like?
Yeah.
Describe the personalities of their hirelings, right? Too, give your
Right.
hirelings personalities.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to that kind of opening piece where it's like, let them do whatever they want here as long as they have the ability.
Right.
The cool thing is too is like, if you're imagining like a tower, so it's like if you do the roomy or the vast one, so the vast one I think it was like 16 5-foot squares, right, or something like that. 36 5-foot squares. So those 36 5-foot squares can be arranged in whatever way you want. So it could be one room or they can be stacked too. So in the form of a tower. So if you only want your tower to be 20 feet wide, 20 by 20, and then stack it. So you have then enough to do a floor plus another piece of a floor. And then you just stack it up however you want, which is a really cool way to do it too. There's just lots of options.
I like the pictures in the book too, that it actually had, it showed like progression of a bastion. It had 4 images.
Yep.
And even what was cool about it too, I thought, is outside of the bastion. If you kind of look at the pictures, the first one almost shows just like almost nothing outside of it. And by the time you get to the 4th one, there's like a sprawling city in the background as well, of like how it impacts what's around it.
So that's something I didn't really think of. That would be a really cool way to do it. So like your bastion is like the center point of that. Think of like Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings. So like the castle part of Minas Tirith is only like the very inner ring, but then there's like the rings of cities around that.
Right.
So it's like, if your DM is cool with it and we need to pop a new city into Faerun, why not? That's a fantastic way to just add to the lore of the realm.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also in these pictures, the seasons change
That's
over
cool, too.
time. So
Yep.
because you're going to be using this over multiple years
Mhm.
potentially in game time, it's going to have different functions throughout even the different seasons. One of the things I was a little bit questioning, which we'll pose to you guys, is to be transparent, we have not played with a Bastion yet. We're looking at doing it in our main campaign, talking through some different possibilities. But how would you guys balance it if you have a table of 4 or 5 different people and 2 of them are really into developing their Bastions and then another character does not care? How would you balance that as a DM?
So what I love is that it actually talks about this in the chapter even. It says that not every character needs to have a bastion, but multiple characters can. So I think if you have some people that are really into it and they want to do it, those people you give that creative license to. Like, absolutely, you can set this up. We're going to have bastion turns, and I think it's almost like hey, we're going to have a session 0.5, right? Because we're introducing bastions. Hey, this is what it's going to be. Are you interested in creating one? If you're not, like, I need you to know this is a new mechanic we're introducing to the game. So every 7 days or whatever we decide our time period's going to be, there's going to be a bastion turn. And if you don't have a bastion, that's fine. Your character just kind of isn't necessarily involved in that process, or they could accompany another character to their bastion. But
yeah,
I would probably do the accompany version and just say, like, let's say that Astrus decides he doesn't want to have a bastion, but he goes with Thorn back to Thorn's bastion, and Thorn has a room that could grant them both a boon. I would allow something like that as a DM.
That's a cool way I didn't really think about that, but I like that.
Or in the scheme of things, this is just downtime activities, right?
It is.
Fair.
It really,
Yeah,
So
reality
you could
is.
do pretty much any other downtime activity that character wants to do, not tied to a bastion.
Correct. And that's the nice thing about Bastions is like it happens parallel to everything else going on. So it's the fact that it exists and runs separately, it could be built outside of a session. It doesn't have to take up session time to build it.
True.
Yeah, you could just type this out with your DM on Discord in between sessions,
Right.
not even taking up time.
Correct. Yeah, this is not something that needs to take time away from the story. Now, it doesn't mean story things couldn't happen at a Bastion, but it doesn't need to take up time, if especially in your example, if people aren't interested in being part of it.
I do think Bastions like present a unique like role playing opportunity though.
Yeah.
Like to have interactions between multiple characters in a Bastion, or like what is your relationship with your hirelings? Are they going to be required to wear uniforms? Like what is that going
Right.
to look like?
Well, and it's like if you show up at somebody else's Bastion, like they have relationships and they've hired people for specific reasons. So like introducing them to other players as an NPC that then creates other interactions could be really interesting too.
Yeah.
And you as the player character get to potentially, if you want, role play multiple characters in your own Bastion.
Mm-hmm.
And the DM just gets to kind of sit back and watch it all happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
And officiate when they need to, but
I
mostly even stay out of it.
I love that.
Yeah, I can see the excitement on your face. I'm a little worried about it.
So this is a fun new feature that it's actually been around for a really long time. It just wasn't in the 2014 rules, but it goes all the way back to like I think AD&D.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like been there in theory, but they've never actually built any actual mechanics to make it happen. Players just do it. So now they've actually have mechanics to play with now, so people have a framework for it.
Yeah, in those special facilities, right? Like there are specific like orders you can give in those facilities, and that's how they take action. So whether it be crafting, empowering, harvesting, recruiting, researching, trading, there's a specific, in essence, resource that you're collecting of some sort based on the order that you give for a specific facility. Like they really formalized it, I feel like.
I would counter that though by saying yes, there's a lot of formality with what they've set out, but I think there is a ton of room for homebrew
Oh, yeah.
that's 100%.
in this area. Like
Yes.
so much possibility for extra room types, room classes, or room special ability rooms. Even potentially leveling up your ability to add more special facilities if you really get
Yes.
rolling on it.
As I looked at this, I'm like, why cut it off at 17? Like that was my other thought.
Yeah.
Like, why
Oh,
not
yeah.
keep building that out?
Right. And it's like I even so backstory for everybody out there listening, like we have separate Discord channels. Like I just messaged you about like I feel like everybody should have something for free because there's like other things going on in our world that they will have and can take with them. So it's like you should not have to pay for this because it's going to exist anyway wherever you're at potentially. So it's like just to your point of homebrewing and things existing
Yep.
because of the story surrounding it anyway. Also, side note, I didn't realize when I read through this the first time that there's a subtable. So, like when the Bastion events, when you roll the D100, if you get the all is well, there's a subtable that you roll a D8, and then so there's like all is well. So like somebody who lost their spectacles again. One of
Yes.
your hirelings adopted a stray dog. What?
Someone
I love
someone
it,
thought
but
they saw a ghost.
And now you're naming a dog and a ghost.
And a ghost.
Okay. Love it.
But it's not necessarily on the DM. You can pass
No,
that on
That's
to
the
the
best
player.
part.
no,
Yeah.
the DM rolled. Now you got to come up with it.
Yep.
Mhm.
I love that. I think that's fantastic.
So a lot of fun possibilities with this one. Any final thoughts on Bastions?
I think this is a really cool. It's been around forever. I think this is a really cool mechanic that they've officially added for people to play with. And I think one of the best parts is not only did they give you the mechanics, but they even gave you a PDF for like tracking all of this stuff. So they didn't just leave it out there like keep your own notes and all that. Like they gave you like a specific sheet so you know what pieces your Bastion has, and then obviously you could take some grid paper and lay out your floor plan that way, or however you want to do it, or in Minecraft. I love that
Legos.
idea.
I love that they've given this basically as a variant way of doing downtime. I think that this is
Yes.
a beautiful way to do this. And I understand that it's existed before, but I'm glad they've added it back into the rule set, like for 2024, given us some guidelines.
Yep.
Like, let's reintroduce this. And I'm excited to get it introduced into our campaign.
It's going to be fun and interesting to see how much this gets used.
Yeah.
I would think. It's the type of thing that a lot of campaigns it doesn't make sense for. Like if you're doing a one shot, or if you're doing a short campaign, or even if you're doing a written module,
Yeah.
it probably doesn't fit. But if you're doing a homebrew one-off, like on your own campaign, it's a nice change of pace.
Yep, I agree.
Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Bards and Barrels. You can listen to past episodes of the show anywhere podcasts can be found. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky Social, and YouTube at Bards and Barrels. We'll see you soon.